What are you talking about? It's a recording.
Hi, my name is Kailee, and this is my presentation of learning. Okay, so these are the 5 books that I used. I used Halo, Silence, I Am Malala, The Countdown, and a book from Wattpad that I cannot put on top of anything. Okay, so the first book I chose was Halo by Frankie Rose, and this book is basically about, it's kind of like The Giver meets Divergent. So, in this society, they don't let citizens have emotions because they feel emotions get in the way of rules. So they put a halo on your neck, and it injects something into your body every month or week or something, and it makes you numb of emotions. So specifically for this character, her name is Kit. She's a fighter. She's one of the best fighters, so she fights without remorse since she has no emotions. So she's killed maybe 300 people, and she's 17, I think. So for this, I chose the Civil War Project. And so what me and my partner Shane did, we did gay rights versus black rights. So on the right side, you'll see a single person with a fist over, and that symbolizes black rights. And on the left, you'll see a mob of people with the gay rights symbol over. And it also shows the difference between in-state laws versus congressional decisions to overrule the entire nation. And so the problem that I have is I like to voice my opinion, and I like to do what I like to do, not what other people want me to do. So if I don't like doing something, I really don't like doing something. And so the problem was I didn't like this project. I mean, no offense to Miss Davis, because it was a really good project and it was planned really well, but me specifically, the project didn't speak to me as much as other projects would have before. And I mean, I'm sure I've encountered this project last year the same. I think there'll always be projects or things in life that you have to do that you don't want to do. So a good thing for me to learn is to do something even though you don't want to do it, because in your future you're going to have to deal with things that you don't want to do. And so from this project, I didn't learn how to suck it up and do the work. It was more I practiced sucking it up and doing the work because it had to get done, because not only did it rely on me, but my partner also relied on me, so I had to just get the work done. So this was my final historical fiction, and I'm pretty proud of it. I think it was 3 pages long, and I did pretty good. But also during the time, we also had to do the notes, and so take the notes on our historical event. So we chose the Reconstruction Acts of 1867, which led to the 15th Amendment, or the ratification of the 15th Amendment. And so even though I didn't want to do the work, I think this was a really good example because I got 6 pages of notes. So I thought it was really good considering that I didn't want to do it yet. I still did it, and I came up with a lot of information that helped me fill out my argumentative paper and my historical fiction. The next book I did was Silence by Natasha Preston, and this book is basically, in the short story, her father was selling her kind of like a prostitute, I guess. So he sold her to his friend, and her father took pictures. And so while this was all happening, when she was 5, I think, or no, not 5, when she was 10 or so, she actually stopped talking because her father said something oh, if you tell your mother, she's never going to forgive you, and so just don't say anything. So from then on, she actually didn't say anything at all, so she stopped talking. And so by the end of the book, her father, once again, is trying to give her to his friend, and so she finally speaks up again, and she calls her boyfriend to come pick her up or something. But what I learned in this is you have to speak up and ask questions, because during the castle worksheets, I got really confused by the end of the first unit, and I spent a lot of my nights and Mahina's nights trying to figure out what I was supposed to learn through this, because I wasn't really sure and clear on it, but I didn't want to ask questions because then I would feel I'm embarrassing, or I was embarrassed and I didn't want to ask questions. So I learned to speak up and ask questions. But So just like her name is Oakley, the girl that was. So just like Oakley, I had to learn to talk and actually voice my opinions or thoughts. Okay, and then that's just from Unit 1, and then from Unit 2, and then the other one was from Unit 3. Okay, so my third book I chose was I Am Malala. I don't know if you guys heard about it. I'm pretty sure you did. But basically, Malala had a blog kind of on how she wanted the rights for girls to have education, and the Taliban actually found out about it, and so they hunted her down, and they ended up shooting her in the head, and it went from her head to her shoulder, and remarkably, she ended up recovering, and she now symbolizes, she's now like an international symbol for like peace, or for courage, and for rights for education. And so from this, I learned that you have to, okay, even though this isn't really something I could use now in my high school education career, I find that like MPX teaches you not only like things you have to learn in general for school, but also life skills that you're going to use when you're older in your work career. So I found, or in general actually, so I learned that you have to stand up for what you believe in. And this is actually a really hard thing for me to learn because me personally, I'm really self-conscious. Like, I don't seem like it, but I'm really scared of what other people think of me. So I don't like saying things, and if I do, or even like if I plan to hang out with a friend, my mind for like the day before, the entire day, is just like, oh, they're probably not going to even show up because they just don't want to hang out with me or something. So, yeah. But I learned that you still have to speak up for what you believe in and be conscious. And from this, I actually learned from history because I chose my acting on revolution project. And so I did the Sam Adams. And he was kind of like, he was one of the founding fathers, and he was very, he voiced his opinion a lot, and he rooted for the Patriots. So I learned from him as well that you have to voice your opinion. And this is just my ending paragraph with many, many words. Okay, the next book I chose was The Countdown. And The Countdown is kind of like Hunger Games meets Divergent. So basically, a rich society likes watching people kill each other, and so they choose criminals to fight together to reach, to go through the countdown, which is 6 steps. And basically, there's certain rules. Like each level that you go on to gets harder and harder and harder. And so, like one of the levels, they had to like search down a person in a mall and kill them, or another one where they had to like walk across like a balance beam that's like 20 feet long to get to the other partner. And if you're separated from your partner for more than like 90 feet, you die. And basically, this one, the girl, her name is Kira. And so Kira and her partner have to work together, and they have to beat each level together because you cannot move on to the next level without your partner. And so for this, I did collaboration and group work with my electrical bike group. And so the difference between this year's group and last year's group was last year, my group was more friends. Like before we had our group, we kind of like sat together all the time, and we were more friends than this year's group because, no offense, Shane, but I didn't really hang out with you before this. But so now it's more like my group now, it's more acquaintances than friends, but I feel at the same time it's a good thing because with friends, your emotions are involved in your project, whether compared to if it's acquaintances. And then I learned that friends fight more if you're in a group because you want more dominance, or you want your voice. I don't know what you want, but friends, it's a little bit more touchy, and you don't want to like hurt their feelings, but at the same time you have to get the job done, and so it's kind of harder to balance out work. And so this is like us working on our bike, and then Kendall, and then our bike again. And so the last one I chose was Rules for Surviving School, and this is the Wattpad book. And so basically, this book is kind of like Ned's Declassified. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that show, but it's basically a high school version of Ned's Declassified. And so one of her main problems is like she wants to do so many things in high school because she wants to be in the clubs and she wants to be in the play and she wants to be in a sport and has to get her schoolwork done. So she has so many things going on that it's almost overwhelming for her, and she ends up failing at almost everything because she doesn't know which one to do and which one to give up and which one to pursue. So that's a problem I had personally because I was the assistant director for the middle school musical, and so besides that, I had to balance doing the musical with schoolwork and all of my clubs and stuff, as well as outside activities. So for me, I had to learn conflict resolutions and how to choose which one was more important and which one I had to do. And so I came up with a system to do all of my work as well as do the play. And I can't exactly explain it to you because it's really confusing, and even to me, I get confused about it sometimes because the schedule for the play wasn't always the same. But basically, I did the homework. I did the night before the day of school. I did my homework in order of my classes. And so, like, if it was Wednesday night and I had my classes tomorrow, I would do like all of my humanities homework, but I wouldn't do my STEM homework that I got that day because I'd do it on Thursday night, the day before, because that was just the easiest thing for me to come up with while still trying to get everything done. And so for this, I chose my math work because even though it wasn't hard, it was time consuming because I'm one of those people who like to get their math work correct because I'm one of the science and math people. I like it more than English and humanities. So I wanted to get this one right, more correct than the other ones. Okay, thank you. Any questions?
That was 13 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
Questions?
Leo?
Can you tell me your acquaintance? Just so I point that out.
No one's ready for yourself to questions.
Cameron?
Adding on to what Leo said, what were some like more specific examples of like different like fights or not specific examples, but how like you were talking? Could you explain more on like how you get in arguments more with your friends than you would with your acquaintances?
Oh god.
Sorry.
So last year, I think you all know this. I had a problem with being bossy as a group leader, and I think I still have that problem. And Kendall's just smiling. She's like, "Yeah, it's so true." And so a problem was like with my friends. I wanted to get them to do the work because they ended up like going on Twitter or going on Netflix a lot. And so I was like, can you guys do your work because we have to get this done by the end of class? And then they'd just be like, stop telling me what to do. And so they go back to doing whatever they originally did. And so that was a problem because it was like emotions are now involved in it because I'm like, oh, I guess, what if she doesn't want to be my friend anymore? Because, I mean, I'm crazy like that. But that's kind of how it goes. But as acquaintances, your emotions aren't as involved because you don't know the person on like a personal level. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kendall?
What skill do you find that you like value the most, or like you feel you improved on the most?
I value the most, or I've improved on the most, is probably the first skill, which is like sucking it up and doing the work. Because there were many nights when I'm just like up until 3 o'clock in the morning trying to do my work that I had to do because I was procrastinating and I didn't want to do it. And that was last year. And so this year, I wasn't up that late, but I was still up to like midnight trying to do my work. But at the same time, at least I knew I had to get the work done, so I didn't try to like procrastinate as much. And I knew, okay, just get it done and it's over with and you can move on to the next thing. So that's one of the things I think I value the most because I can use it in my future, and I happen to come up with that problem a lot, so it's the most helpful. Yeah.
You know the system you talked about, how you like got kind of organized?
Yeah.
Before? You know how you said, can you try to explain it? Because
Okay, so say it's Tuesday, okay, and so our schedule is 3-5-7-1. So Tuesday night, my homework, instead of getting the homework I got that Tuesday day, I'm gonna wait till Wednesday night to finish it because we don't have those classes until Thursday.
So it's like you alternate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to.
That's
Any
what I do.
other questions? Justin?
Out of those 5 books, which one was your favorite?
Oh, okay. My favorite book was Halo because it was really interesting because she's really like awesome. I guess I don't know. It was just my favorite book. You should read it.